Welcome to Inside the Anatomy Lab, your quick guide to exploring the human body.
Let's dive in and discover the wonders together.
Ho, ho, ho!
Today, we are here to discuss bones, osteology of bone, mostly of the upper limb. But before I start, let's tell you a little of what we do. Anatomical technologists or medical movie technologists will simply instruct and tutor students on day-to-day happenings in the lab, like how to harvest organs, how to preserve, how to maintain the lab, regular safety procedures in the lab, histological slides, bone maceration, bone articulation, placination, even mobile anatomy, everything mobile anatomy. So, but for now, let's concentrate on osteology of bones. Today, we'll discuss the upper limb. The upper limb consists majorly of the clavicle, the humerus, scapula, radius, and ulna. Also, before I forget, let me introduce you to Ben. Ben will be here with us for our osteology classes. Majorly, I will discuss the humerus, the clavicle, scapula, radius, and ulna. But let me start with the clavicle. The clavicle is the only horizontal bone lying on the human body. This is the clavicle here. What are the special features of the clavicle? The special features of the clavicle is the clavicle has two ends, three parts, two surfaces. What are the ends? The sternal end, acromial end. What are the parts? The sternal end, acromial end, and the shaft. What are the surfaces? Posterior surface, anterior surface. Then subsequently, we'll study the muscle attachments. But for now, let's do osteology. Now, looking at here, what are the features? How can we identify the clavicle? The clavicle at the sternal end here has a bubble shape or a roundish end. Here, it's roundish. Remember that at this point, where the clavicle is attaching to the sternum, is what we call the sternoclavicular joint. Here is what we call the sternoclavicular joint. At this point, this is the sternum, but the various part of the sternum involves here, which is called the jugular notch. At this point, which is called the manubrium of the sternum. At this point, it's called the body of the sternum, and at this point, it's called the xiphoid process. Don't forget that all what you are seeing here is what we call what? Costal cartilage. At this point is what we call the intercostal space. Subsequently, you might be asked in your exam, what are the contents of the intercostal space? The contents of the intercostal space include intercostal muscle, intercostal vein, intercostal nerves. Is that clear? Please don't forget. Let's go back to the clavicle. We have been able to identify the sternal end. Now let's go to the what? Acromial end. At acromial end, you see that the acromial end attaches to what? Acromion of the what? Of the scapula. Is that clear? So, you should be able to identify the clavicle using these basic features which I have taught you today. Don't forget, let me take it again from the top, that the clavicle has two ends, three parts, and two surfaces. Don't forget. At the point where the clavicle attaches to the sternum is called the sternoclavicular joint, and it also attaches to the what? Acromion, and the acromial what? End. Don't forget. Now, the next bone I would like to discuss the osteology for you is the scapula. As you all know, I've always told you that the scapula at its right position looks like a butterfly shape when it's in the right position, the right anatomical position. This is it. Please, all these are models. All these are plastic models. Look at this now. This is the scapula in the right anatomical position. You see, it's looking like a butterfly. Yes, right. So now, for you to be specific, because this bone involves you to be specific, you have to be able to identify the left and the right scapula. Important features you need to know for you to be able to identify this bone involves one, the surfaces. the posterior and the what? Anterior surface, the glenoid cavity, and the spine. This will help you to know whether it's the left or the right. Now, looking at this bone, looking at these two, the pair of scapula I have here, you can say that as long as this glenoid cavity is pointing towards the head of the humerus to form the glenohumeral joint, we can say that this is the what? The right scapula. You see the formation here? See the formation? It's pointing towards the right. This is pointing towards the left. So if you bring the left humerus, it will simply articulate at the glenoid cavity. This is forming the glenohumeral joint. This is the formation of the glenohumeral joint. Now let's come back to the scapula. Let me tell you some important parts, important features of this scapula. Take note that here is the glenoid cavity. Here is the acromion. Where is the acromion angle? You can see the formation of the angle, what we call the acromial angle. Don't forget that here is the what? The spine. At this point is the superior angle. At this point is the superior border. Don't forget. At this point is the inferior angle. Don't forget. At this point is the what? Lateral angle. And we also have the medial angle. Don't forget. So for us to continue, we should also know the various parts of muscle attachment. But as we said, let's just go for osteology. Subsequent classes will teach you the muscle attachment of the word scapula. Let's go to the second bone, the third one, sorry, which we have here is the humerus. The humerus, the humerus, the humerus, the humerus. Looking at them, you can identify the humerus. Now, the humerus have how many parts? The humerus have 3 parts. Proximal end, distal end, and the shaft. From here to here is the proximal end. From here to here is the distal end. And from here to here is the what? Shaft. Don't forget. How do we identify the left humerus from the right humerus? We must take cognizance of the medial epicondyle. The medial epicondyle. The surfaces. Is it facing posteriorly or is it facing anteriorly? Remember the anatomical position. You should know when the body is at the right anatomical position. So before you attempt any question in your practical class or in your theory class, you should be able to must have understood the question, understand the anatomical position of that muscle or nerve supply or bone you want to write or discuss about. Now, how do we know when this bone is in what anatomical position? First of all, be able to identify the ends, which I've told you. The proximal end, distal end. Identify the parts. The proximal end, distal end, and the shaft. Identify the surfaces. The anterior surface and the what? Posterior surface. How do you know anterior surface and posterior surface? Looking at this here. Here, this space here is what we call what? Some call it olecranon fossa. Some call it what? The trochlear notch. Alright. Now, at this point here, this here is the what? Posterior view of the what? Humerus. Meaning the back of the humerus. As I told you before, this is it. This is the normal anatomical position of the humerus. Look at it. The medial epicondyle must be close to the body. Looking at my own humerus, because this anatomy is practical, you can see my medial epicondyle. This thing here, see it here. It's touching my body. See, this one is touching my body. Here is the what? The trochlear. And here is the what? The capitulum. At this point, here, right here, we have the trochlear notch, and right here, we have the capitulum. Don't forget, I'll give you an assignment in the comment section. Identify this A, and here is B. At this point, what's here? Identify this space here, and identify this space here in the comment section. Don't forget. So, also, tell us what is here. What articulates to this olecranon fossa? Tell us in the comment section. That's 3 questions. Identify A, B, and what articulates with C. That's your question. So for humerus, I guess that's all I will do for today, so that the students can be able to read. We don't teach everything. We just tell you what to do. Then you ask us questions, we'll help you. Then thank you. God bless you. See you in our next class. We'll be discussing the radius and the ulna and the what? Sternum. Thank you.
Thank you for watching Inside the Anatomy Lab.
We hope you found today's exploration insightful. Please subscribe and enable notifications to be in our communities of dedicated learners and professionals.
See you all on the next video.